Okay, so we will begin our session now. Hello, all, once again. Let me introduce myself first. So, my name is Ravi, and I'm associated with Techcanvass as online trainer since last 9 years. I have a total experience of 16 years in test automation and test architecture. I have, worked on various programming languages like Python, Java, JavaScript, and multiple tools and frameworks of Selenium and other tools in the test architecture arena. Okay, so I'll be your trainer for this course of Selenium with Python. Okay, so let's have a quick introduction from your side as well. Just let me know your name, current profile, and what are your expectations from this course. So let's start with Jyoti.
Yeah, sure. My name is Nirmala Jyoti, and currently I'm working with Tech Mahindra. I'm into quality analyst. I worked as a manual tester and ETL tester, and I worked as API tester as well. And currently, I want to upgrade myself into automation. So I'm looking for the where I can work real time, where I can contribute myself in real time projects, and also uh, I want to be familiar with the framework. Actually, I have some idea about Selenium. I went through a lot of trainings and um, even videos available in online. So somewhere I'm lagging behind with the framework and other things. So I just want a real time experience with I want to work with the real time projects.
Okay, okay, fair. Thank you. Uh, Omkar.
Hi. So I'm working with IBS Software Technology. I'm a senior test analyst there. So currently I'm a manual tester. I just want to upgrade myself in automation. Actually, I'm looking for a new job as a automation tester.
Okay. So, so with this expectation in context, we'll start. So I will share my screen. So this program, that we conduct in Python with Selenium is primarily developed and focused on learners, with no prior experience in test automation or programming. So what we'll do is we'll cover everything from basics along with practical and hands-on approach of each and every aspect and each and every concept. Okay, so the sessions are, mostly focus on programming and coding, right? So around 90% of our time that we'll spend will be spent in coding and programming, writing programs and code only. Okay, and understanding how to create various aspects of certain things, right? In test automation specifically. So normally, people start their career learning tools directly, right? For example, since there are a lot of online learning is available, e-learning is available. So, so basically, what we tend to do normally is, we go to some websites and or YouTube videos, etc., or courses, and we start learning Selenium or other automation related technologies directly. However, the right thing to do is to go through the programming language first. Okay, because test automation is kind of a development as well. Okay, so today's world, the expectation is that a proper development knowledge is necessary for test automation engineers as well. So first step is to learn programming language. Now, programming languages are, have a lot of constructs, have a lot of features, have a lot of tools and utilities which are not relevant to test automation. Okay, so we might want to skip them, okay, or maybe learn them later, but initially we have to focus on what is relevant for test automation. Okay, what is relevant for the framework that we want to create, or any application under test that we want to automate. Okay, so based on the relevancy of test automation, we'll start learning the programming language first. Okay, and since you have chosen a programming language as Python, so we'll start with Python programming language. Okay, so today, we'll sneak peek into Python. We'll see, how Python works, and what are various uses of Python and Selenium. So I'll introduce you Python in a way that you feel it easy to grasp. Okay, so moving ahead.
And
So
second thing, like I
yeah.
just want to know, like many are learning with the Java. So what's the difference in the Java and Python? Like who is in a boom currently, like Java or Python, or it's like in a company, like in every company it's different.
Okay, good question. So I was about to cover that, but yeah, since you have asked, let's touch base this aspect. So see, Selenium supports multiple programming languages: Python, Java, JavaScript, R, etc., etc. Right, a lot of languages are supported, and there is demand for Python and Java both in the industry or in the market. Okay, now, since you are starting, I think Python is a very good starting point and better than Java, because the syntax and the context is easy to understand. Okay, Java is very powerful. However, it sometimes becomes a bottleneck to jumpstart or kickstart in Java. Okay, it needs a lot of practice, lot of hard work when compared to Python. Okay, Python is easy, context is easy, and a lot of things which are easy to understand in Python. So Python is a good starting point. And as far as demand is concerned, uh, so there is demand for both. Okay, now I'll give you certain insights about how companies think, or how interviewer thinks, when they are trying to gauge knowledge from your side, right? So I'm associated with various interview taking platforms, right? Who takes the interview, like Interview IO, etc. And in my organization, so I have worked in 7 companies so far in my career. So in my experience as well, what interviewers want to see is learnability. Okay, they want to understand how much of learning you can grasp quickly. Okay, so if I am taking an interview, a programming language will not be a concern for me. Okay, let's say if I'm hiring for a Java role, and if a person has worked on Python with Selenium, so programming language will not be a concern, because we don't want to create products or services in Python or Java. We want to create test automation frameworks, right? Our core skill is creation of test automation framework. So if you understand the concept, if you understand the basic structure and criteria of spinning a test automation framework, maintaining it, scaling it, then you will be fit for that role. Okay, and see, Selenium is a tool which is common across all programming languages, right? So Selenium binds with various programming languages. right? So it binds with JavaScript as well. It binds with R, big data specific languages as well. So if you are able to understand the concept, and if you are able to understand how to integrate Selenium with a programming language will not be a barrier. Okay, since you are starting, you start with one programming language, but let's say as you mature in the test automation, let's say 2-3 years down the line, you will have to add one more language to your arsenal. Okay, so having knowledge of only one programming language, will is not sufficient in longer run. Okay, but like I said, Python is a good starting point, and so since you are learning to float in the world of test automation, so Python is good starting point, I would say. Okay, so main focus should be on understanding the concept, understanding about the tool specifics, okay, and programming language constructs. Okay, and one more important aspect is practice. Okay, we all know that, right? No need to explain that, because if you do not practice, if you do not build your logic, okay, so you will face difficulties when you are actually working on the project. Okay, now my one suggestion to all the learners who join this course is, so normally what we do is we start a little slow. I induce a little slow to you guys to the training, but let's say 2 weeks down the line, once we pick up the pace, many learners tend to lag behind. Okay, why? Because they are not practicing on time. Okay, so the ground rule of practice when you are learning, for these 9 weeks is 9 or 10 weeks, whatever will be the duration of the training. So for the first these 9 or 10 weeks that you have enrolled for, okay, so we'll spend 3 hours every weekend day on training, and in addition to that, you have to spend between 30 minutes to 1 hour every day on practice. Okay, 6 days a week at least. Okay, so if you are able to take out that time to practice, so I will give you assignments, and I'll give you programming problems, okay, or programming assignments, I should say. They are not problems actually. So you should work on those assignments. Okay, code them practically in your IDE on your laptop. Okay, because see, nowadays if you enter one line on chat GPT, it will give you entire program, right? But if you want to learn, then you have to refrain from that. Okay, so you have to write the program the traditional way, right? Using the IDE, you have to build the logic, you have to execute, right? You have to fail, and then you have to correct yourselves. Okay, and whatever doubts you have, you have to get them clarified, right? So if you do spend 30 minutes or 1 hour, between 30 minutes to 1 hour, see, it depends on individual as well, right? It depends on the grasping capability and capacity as well. So if you are ready to spend those 30 minutes or 1 hour every day, and practice the uh, programs, then you will get very good grip at the end of 2 months from now. Okay, after 2 months from now, you will have very good grip on the automation. Okay, and in this training, the special part is, since from my experience of training a lot of candidates, and training and taking interviews as well, what interviewers are looking for in an interview is what are the assets that you have built while you are learning something. Okay, so let's say I'm watching a YouTube video. Okay, so for let's say Selenium concept. Okay, so you have to build certain asset around it which you can demonstrate in your profile. Okay, so what do you think, what asset can you build to demonstrate in your profile? when you are learning? How would you demonstrate? So see, you guys are also saying that there is no experience of test automation and you appear for an interview. Okay, so you tell me that, Ravi, this is my resume and I have applied for the position of test automation engineer. So why would I choose you over other candidate? Why would I choose you? Because you don't have any experience, right? You have experience in manual only. You don't have experience in test automation. So what is the criteria that will differentiate you from others, and why will I choose you? Any thoughts around this? You can unmute and speak. Yeah, Jyoti, go ahead.
Yeah, we should be
Yeah.
able to demonstrate like how we are gonna build automation, how we are gonna help
Mhm.
in the projects, help with the projects in the automation, like mm,
Okay. Yes, you are right. We have to demonstrate how we will be helpful to the project. That is
yeah.
right. Okay, Omkar, any ideas from your side? Why would one choose a person with no automation experience, who has only learned the automation?
Most of a manual tester has domain knowledge, strong domain knowledge. So as per
Hmm.
me, if you have a firm domain knowledge, so we can explain them like what is feasible or what is not, how we
Correct.
can change the automation, how we change the manual
Yes.
process to
So,
automation process.
right. So in this case, your primary skill is domain. Your primary skill is not automation. Then you are just showing it as an add-on that, yeah, I have domain knowledge, but I can do automation as well. Right. This is the approach. Yeah. So this approach is also okay, but not great. Right. Because uh, see, domain knowledge can be understood. I'm not comparing an apple and orange, but person with a good automation skill, uh, can skill up to domain knowledge as well. Okay, so other way is also true. Correct. So I'm not saying that you are entirely wrong, but yeah, okay, right. So this is so these are differentiators, right? So now the question is how to convince, or how to demonstrate that what we have done or what our experience is, when we were learning. Okay, because there are two types of learning, right? One is active learning and another is passive learning, right? So passive learning is when the video is going on and every minute our brain is processing 30 thoughts. Correct. Every 60 seconds my brain is processing 30 or 31 thoughts, right? On an average, for an average human being. So a video is going on and my brain is processing thoughts also at the same time, right? So I'm unable to grasp the entire thing and the video is over. I hear a few things from the video. Okay, I relate them in my brain and I tell the answer, right? Which is half cooked, mostly wrong. Okay, which could be right as well, but mostly not conceptual, it's theoretical. Okay, so this is one type of learning, which is passive learning. Okay, second is active learning, right? Now in active learning we have to do the right thing. Okay, now based on our cognitive abilities, no matter how much YouTube videos or courses you watch. Okay, when you are watching multimedia, no matter how much do you watch, your conceptual ability will not develop. Okay, I'll give you an example. If you watch a video on how to swim, you won't be able to, right? You would be able to, you will know certain things, but if I throw you in the water, there are high chances you will drown, right? If you watch YouTube video for cooking, the dish won't get ready, right? Simple things, we all know these things, right?
Yeah, you are correct. We have to come up
Yeah.
with some POCs kind and to prove like
Yes. Yeah.
where
So
automation is required. So we should show them like how much time we can save with automation work.
yes, on the right lines. Okay, so we have a new participant. Hi, Abhishek.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Abhishek. So, Abhishek, we started at 8, so you are a little late, but we are, you have not missed much. So, we did introduction and now we are talking about certain aspect. So I'll discuss certain things with you later, okay, if required. So since you have joined now, so I'll give you a context on our current thing that we are doing. So we are trying to understand how how we should prepare for the interview, basically, how we should build assets which can be demonstrated during interview. Okay,
Okay, okay,
so just be with us, you will be in sync soon.
okay.
Okay, okay, welcome. Okay, so yes, Jyoti, you are right. So you have to do POC, that is fine, and you will have to demonstrate that what have you learned actually, right? Or when you say that I have gained knowledge on the programming language, I have gained knowledge on the tool, that we should display. Okay, so we will do that by creating our code. Okay, so we will write our programs, we'll create framework, we'll automate applications, right? We will let's say I'm writing a program for factorial. Okay, so we'll use the program or the code that we are writing, and we will upload it on source code repositories. Okay, so there are a lot of public source code repositories like GitHub, Bitbucket, right? You must have heard about it when you are working. So if your resume or your profile contains your GitHub work URL, okay, whatever work you have done, whatever learnings you have had, whatever programs you have written, okay, because that is the demonstration of, that is the proof, that is the asset of what you have worked, what you have learned. Okay, because see, we watch videos, they come and they go, we do trainings, they come and they go, right? We don't have any takeaways. Okay, we have takeaways in terms of learning, in terms of concept, but we don't have takeaways which we can demonstrate normally. So in this training, we'll break that barrier and we'll create our own asset which you can upload on your personal Git repository. So I'll cover that aspect as well, how we can do that, so that you can demonstrate by providing your GitHub URL into your profile or in your resume. Okay, so any one of you are doing this already, or have thought about doing this?
No,
No.
I'm
No?
not.
No? Okay, fine. So see, I take a lot of interviews, right? Like I said, I'm associated with Interview IO and other interview vector and other forums, so I take interviews for candidates, and I do take interviews for my company as well, so where I work. So what I see is hardly 0.5% of candidates are able to demonstrate what they have worked on. Okay, practically, their practice time basically. Okay, so see, you can demonstrate me your theory knowledge, your concept that is in your brain. Okay, but if you want to demonstrate your practice time to me, you can't, unless you show me something concrete, unless my eyes can feel some programs, some code. Okay, so this is what we have to do. Okay, now, okay, so let us go to our agenda. Okay, let us see our agenda, that how the training program will be conducted. Okay, so this will be a 9-week long training program. Okay, so this week will be mostly introduction. Okay, so nothing much we'll be covering in this week, because we are just trying to induce you to the programming world. And so first let us start with introduction. Okay, so we'll start with basics, like what is automation and why do we need test automation. Okay, and where does the test automation fits in the software development life cycle. Okay, so this is the first thing that we are going to cover. Yeah, so uh, okay, now let's discuss a little about test automation. Okay, traditional approach versus modern thinking that is required in projects right now. Okay, let us think about that. Okay, so now you guys tell me, what is one innovation that you will do in test automation that you can think of? Okay, any one innovation, any one new thing that you think should be done in test automation world or in automation world. Okay, just think any one thing and tell me that. So Jyoti, yeah, let's start. Tell me any one thing.
Innovation in a sense, like what it is, in what way you are asking? Like in our day-to-day projects, or is it
Yes,
something?
anything in day to day also, or let's say you are using a lot of online applications, like let's say you are using Gmail
Mhm.
or any other thing, or your project itself. So what do you think would be innovative in terms of test automation?
Yeah, whatever the activities we keep on doing, like regular activities.
Okay, okay, no
I'm not.
problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Omkar, any ideas? What should be innovation? What can be innovative?
Actually, in our project now, we are not able to handle this job run. Like at particular time, job is running. Okay, so
Hmm.
if it's involved in our process, so in our project, we are not able to automate that flow. So I want to try that. Like I want to automate those processes where a job is involved.
Correct. Yes. Abhishek?
Yeah, we have lot of repeated tasks in our work, testing work. So if we can automate, it would be great.
Yes. Right. Correct. So all three were right. So Jyoti, you said that day to day work, right? Or our regular work.
Regular
So
activities.
yes. So see, when we say innovation, okay. uh, Okay, when we say innovation, we are not talking about discovery. Okay, we don't want to discover anything, or we don't want to reinvent the wheel from scratch. Okay, so innovation is basically solving our problem which adds in value. Okay, in technology, in software at least, this is the definition of innovation. Okay, in other fields there could be other definitions, but for us the definition is where we can solve our problems. Okay, and the idea does not needs to be like develop a rocket or whatever. It does not necessarily be a rocket science. Okay, it can be a very simple idea, like Omkar explained with the example that there is one job which is running which I want to automate. Okay, very easy task, but great value add it adds, right? So this is innovation. Okay, so in traditional way of test automation thinking, okay, what we normally think is that we will have one application, okay, and we will create a framework, write automation cases around it in some programming language, run that pack, and the job of automation or test automation is done, right? This is a traditional way of thinking, right? Let's say you are working on an application, a web application or API, right? Like Jyoti, you said you have experience in API, right? So maybe you want to automate that. So that is traditional approach where we are just automating the application. Okay, but the mindset that you have to inculcate is of innovation. Okay, now I gave you the definition of innovation, right? It does not needs to be great, or I mean it does not needs to be a rocket science. It can be great even if it is very simple. Okay, I'll give you one example. Okay, so in my previous company where I worked, and it's a big MNC bank, top 5 banks of the world, amongst the top 5. Okay, I think I can give you the name as well, HSBC Bank. Okay, so I worked for HSBC Bank earlier. So in 2020, right, during COVID, they had one innovation contest. Okay, across the bank, not just technology. They had a contest across the bank to save cost. Okay, so they wanted innovative ideas which can save a cost, and there were a lot of ideas pouring in because there are around 2.2 lakh staff which works for the bank, including technology, everyone. Okay, so everyone was the participant. So the idea that won was I'll give you the idea. It was very simple, but it was very unique and it won. Okay, so the idea was when we do a credit card transaction, okay, there is a charge slip that comes out of the machine, right? You have heard that, you've seen that, right? Every one of us has seen that POS machine where the charge slip is printed, it comes out of the machine, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea was there is lot of header and tail space in that machine, correct? Lot of space is wasted on the top and on the bottom. So uh, when the details are getting printed, certain amount of uh, area is wasted, correct, on the on each slip. So the idea was to reduce that wastage. Okay, so very simple optimization in the POS machines which would reduce that wastage. Okay, so see, the idea was very simple, but when you multiply it with the number of transactions that the world is doing and multiply it with two copies, a merchant copy and the customer copy, right? So the scale becomes big, and it translated into a mini forest every year. Like we can save a mini forest every year if we just save that small amount of paper for number of transactions that are happening and that are growing. So during COVID, there was a lot of uh, information around how transactions are going to increase or how they are increasing, right? Digital transactions. So see, this was a very simple idea, very small idea, but this idea won the entire contest. 2.5 lakh employees in the bank, right? And there were multi-thousand ideas, and among all those, this idea got the first prize. Okay, so see, this was the innovative idea that someone thought of, someone demonstrated. Okay, they arranged metrics around it, that how many trees would be saved, how much paper is there, number of transactions, etc., etc., right? So they collected all the matrices, presented it in such a way that this idea was given the first prize. Okay, so innovation does not means we have to reinvent or very big thing, we have to think something. Okay, so in technology, the definition of innovation is small thing which solves my day-to-day problem. It can be very small as well. So
Okay.
to solve those problems, we need automation. Okay, and like Abhishek also rightly said, if we can do automate our daily redundant tasks, right, which we by doing which we feel very bored, or by doing which we feel irritated, right? And we feel that our life is worthless, right? So those tasks should be automated.
Yeah, it's nothing but where we can avoid lot of manual work and save the cost.
Right. So your mindset has to be this. The mindset does not need to be a traditional mindset where I will just automate the application, the test cases will run automatically, and my job will be done, my report will be generated, and I'm good. Okay, so this is traditional approach. The new approach is problem solving. Okay, so when you are learning, try to leverage tools in such a way that they not only do our traditional task of automation the application, but they also do our mundane task and day-to-day task. We automate them, that also, and add some value to the project. Okay, because someone said, right, I think Omkar said that add a value to the project, right? So we have to add that value, right? So then only our work will be useful and appreciated. Okay, so this is the mindset. So see, normally what I can do is I can go ahead, teach you code, and teach you Selenium and finish it off, right? But first I want to set the context, set the mindset, and then you should jump into the learning, right? Because it's about 80% mindset and 20% knowledge. Okay, so like I said, interviewer is looking for learnability. Okay, he is not looking for actual learnings. Actual learnings 20%. It's a wrong statement. Not looking. They are looking for learning, but 20% learning and 80% learnability, capability. Okay, because see, normally you must have observed in your experience that whatever they ask in interview, the work is a lot different, right? It happens, right? If you have given interviews. So I might ask you very complex and technical questions in interview, but when you are working, you will say that, oh, interview mein itna pucha tha, now they are doing nothing, right? This happens normally, correct? So interviewer is not looking to ask questions which you are going to work on. They are going to check your learnability aspect. Okay, that how quickly you can adapt, how quickly you can learn, and what practice you have done which will help you to adapt and learn fast. Okay, so this mindset is very important. Now, so with this context, what is automation? Okay, so we have to migrate from test automation to automation now, right? So earlier it was test automation where we were doing only testing part, but now we will be doing automation and we will learn automation. Okay, one more very important innovation, okay, that you have to inculcate in your mindset is AI. Okay, because every company is investing huge amount of money in AI, right? Artificial intelligence. Okay, and no one why they are doing it, maybe their vision and mission is not clear, but since everyone is doing it, so we are doing it, right? This is the mindset of the companies. Like a bank A is spending, let's say, $5 million every day, so I'll spend 6 million. This is the mindset. This is the competition people are in. They don't want to lag behind when it comes to artificial intelligence. Okay, so I'll cover some aspects of artificial intelligence as well, right? That how you can stand out, how you can leverage. Okay, so let's say I am looking for 2-3 candidates, right now, let's say. So if someone tells me that, I have this idea around AI, so that will be my preferred choice. That will be the USP point. I'll give it to that person, right, for selection. Correct, because at least the thought process is there. Solution could not be there, right? Code could not be there, but at least the mindset is there and vision is there, right? Because if you are thinking about something, you will definitely do it, right? So since you guys were thinking about Selenium, Python, upskilling, job change, you came to the training, right? So if you create the mindset and the context right, you will do it. Okay, so these are certain aspects you have to keep in your mind and train yourselves around these things. Okay. Okay, so we'll also understand about software development lifecycle where automation fits in, right? So traditional approach is going to be there, right? So that is our core responsibility. 80% of the time would be going there only towards our core responsibility, and 20% time will be spent on the other activities, right? Like I'm saying, AI related activities or creating and developing small utilities, right? So these things also you have to inculcate. So you have to learn the programming language and tools by keeping these things in mind. Okay, so test automation is basically testing the software by automation automatically. Okay, now let me give you some insights around test automation as well. Okay, so traditionally, I'll explain you one model. Okay, so let me know what do you think about this model. Okay, so listen carefully because I'll ask questions. Okay, so the model is that I'll consider example of Gmail application, right? All of us have used Gmail, right? Gmail or any web application, email web application, right? Okay, I assume yes. Okay, so let's say I am automating Gmail. Okay, and in Gmail, I am writing, let's say my scope is 5 test cases: create email, send email, read email, delete attachment, add attachment, right? These 5 scenarios I have. And my test cases are getting executed automatic. I'm coming to the office, I'm triggering the automation pack. Okay, my test cases are running automatically. Okay, if there are any failures, I am looking at the logs of my automation, my report, right? My automation report, raising bugs, sending to the developer. Okay, pinging him or sending him email. Okay, so this is my model, right? Every day I do this. Every day I run the automation test. Maybe there is a 6th case. I'll add that 6 test case, I'll add the 7 test case in the same automation framework, and I'll do this. So what do you think about this model? What are the gaps and improvement areas in this model? Or this model is perfect? What are your opinion?
I guess here continuous integration will come into picture, right? All this can.
Correct. Yes, you are right.
Yes,
So
it is.
yes, so this model is not automation, a fully test automation model, right? It's a partial automation where my test cases are getting executed automatically, but I have to trigger everything manually. I have to raise defects manually. I have to ping developer manually. Okay, how can I automate this everything? How can I automate these tasks? And is it possible to automate these tasks? That okay, so test cases will execute automatically using CI/CD or continuous testing, right, Jyoti? We know that, right? But how about creating defects? Can it be done automatically?
Creating defects is will be a manual task, but the report what we get, that will be the basis for our further work.
Okay, and how about informing the developer that the test has failed and please look into it? Because sometimes you have to follow up, right? Creating defect is not sufficient. Sometimes you have to ping them that, oh boss, this is failing, right? We use Teams and we use Symphony and other chat clients, right, in our office.
Yeah,
So yeah,
some amount of manual work will remain.
okay. Yes, so Abhishek, you are right, but you are traditional. Okay, so it's not bad because we are evolving, right? So everything can be automated. Okay, including defect creation, including informing the stakeholders on Teams, on Outlook. Okay, everything can be automated and should be automated in a pipeline. Okay, so what we will see is how to integrate various tools and APIs into framework. Okay, so let's say there is a Jira API. So if you go on Google, see, most of the companies are using Jira, right, for defect management. What tools are you guys using for defect management in your companies?
Jira.
Jira.
Okay, anything, any other? Okay,
Trackspace.
even if you are using other tools, sorry.
Trackspace.
Okay, so whatever tools you are using, okay, if you go on Google and search, they will have an API exposed. Okay, that means they have a small mini tool created, which is not a UI tool. Okay, so see, we log in into Jira, we click on create defect, add details, right? Create task, subtask, click on save, assign it to someone. We do all these things manually on UI. Okay, so similar to UI, they will give you an API as well. Okay, now I can integrate that API into my test automation framework, and on every failure, I can call that API and create a bug. Okay, I can create my rule engine as well. Okay, where I'll decide whether this defect should be created or it should not be created, whether it should be created as a bug or as a task. Okay, all those things I can decide automatically via my code only. Okay, I can integrate Outlook API, Teams API into my framework, and the messages will go automatically to individual users or to groups as well, team channels or chats. Okay, so Symphony, Teams, Outlook, all of these have exposed their APIs. Okay, I can send email also, I can attach reports to that email also, automatic, all of this. This is the true automation. This is the true test automation, which is 100% touchless. Okay, so this is the nirvana state I'm talking about. Okay, so every project will have its maturity based on budget and resources. Correct. So we have to be judgmental there. We have to be we have to take our call there. However, our concept and our mindset should be clear that everything can be automated, and we should at least know how it can be automated. Okay, approach, like I'm telling you, right? If let's say interviewer asks you this question, Abhishek, like you said, that some tasks will be manual. So it's mindset, right? So you have to change that mindset. Okay, and you have to give a little bit of approach, like what I'm explaining it to you, that Jira has the API, I can integrate the API, and I can create a bug conditionally. Okay, I can't create bug for every failure, otherwise it will create lot of false positives. Okay, or true negatives, whatever. Correct, but I can do it conditionally. For other things, maybe I can create a Teams channel, send a notification there. I can send an email, automated email, right? All these things can be achieved. Okay. So the approach has to be there, that how would you do it? Yeah. So this is actually the modern way, or no, I should not say the modern way, current way of test automation. Okay. Where everything is automated. So this is called as automating the automation. Whatever manual activities are there, we are going to automate them, right? This is how our approach has to be. This is how our mindset has to be. Okay. So if you know that, you have to use Jira API, I think half of the battle is won. Correct. Because then it's about using it. Right. And see, in today's world, we have Chat GPT, Copilot. Every company has it, right? Almost every company has those AI tools. If not, soon they will be there, right? So this code part they can also write. Correct. But what that AI can't do is the mindset thing, is the concept thing. Okay. Is how you structure your framework, is how a particular application should be tested. Okay. That thing AI can't do at this point of time, at least. Okay. See, code it can generate. So I can teach you Python now. I can teach you variable, operator, this, that. I can teach you right away, right? So we'll do this. I'm not saying we won't do. So we'll do everything. But first I want to set the right mindset, and then I will start the programming aspects. Okay. So therefore I am covering these topics today. Okay. So these are the things that we have to focus on. Okay. So why do we need automation? I think it's very easy question, right? So it reduces so the answer is very easy. So it reduces the overall effort that it take, right? And it can regression test any complex software multiple times, any number of times. Okay. So, and it is also useful if there are a lot of refactorings in the product. Okay. Refactoring means a lot of changes if they are coming in. So definitely if more features are getting added, it will take more time, right, to automate. Correct. More and more features, if added, more and more time it's going to take, right? And the complexity is going to increase. So for such complex software, automation is the only choice to, and it also reduces the redundant, manual, boring effort that we put in, right? The work which we don't like to do again and again is taken care by the computer. Okay, now let's talk about the areas where test automation touches, okay, or test automation impacts. So you must be knowing about software development lifecycle and software testing lifecycle, right? These are theoretical terms you must have learned in various phases, right, of your life. So test automation will touch all the aspects, right? And it can automate everything. Okay. Even okay. So how can I write requirements automatically using test automation? Any thoughts on that? No. Okay. So see, now there are tools, you must have heard about Cucumber, etc. Right? Have you heard about Cucumber?
Yeah.
Yeah.
BDD, Gherkin,
Yes.
right?
Mm.
All these
Yes.
buzzwords you must have heard, right? Definitely you because you go on Google, you type these, you get a lot of information. Yeah. So let's say I want to create a Gherkin file, BDD file, Cucumber file, okay, in a given when then syntax, right? So there are tools now to which you feed one line, they will give you entire file. Okay. So such kind of tools are there in the market right now. You just type in a word or a sentence and they will generate the entire thing. Okay. So those kind of tools and automation is also available. Okay. Of course, Chat GPT is also there. The GPT, other GPT models are also there, which can do the same task. Right. So right now the test automation is impacting or touching all the aspects of software. Okay. Now I'm talking about working practices, like the redundant tasks, the mundane tasks, right? For example, I want to merge two Excel files. I want to merge two CSV files, right? All these tasks can be achieved using test automation. Okay. Now let's talk about the primary tool that we'll be discussing. Okay, in this training, during this training. Okay. So primarily we'll be focusing on Selenium. So we know that Selenium is open source automation testing tool, okay, and it can be used for web-based application only, okay. But our learning horizon should we should focus on integrating other types of tools as well, right? Like I said, we have to integrate maybe API, right? So we should know some API frameworks for that, right? Or we have to create a script which will send an email, a Python script, let's say, which will send an email, trigger an email. So we should be good at Python as well. Okay. So apart from learning Selenium, we have to learn Python and integration of Python with tools. Then Selenium supports multiple or all the browsers, in fact, right? Whatever is our scope. It supports Windows, Mac, Linux, all the operating systems, and multiple languages are binded. Okay, can be binded. So our focus language will be Python for this course, right? So we have Java, C Sharp, JavaScript, Python is twice there, okay, PHP and Ruby, okay, and there are many more language bindings as well. This list is not comprehensive. You can go to selenium.dev and you will be able to see the structure, okay. See all the languages which are supported. Okay, now, okay, fine. So now how this training will be structured, let me give you some brief idea about it. So we'll be meeting 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. India time, okay, which is kind of 3 hours. So in between, we will have two breaks, okay. After approximately every 1 hour, we will have around 10 or 15 minutes of break, okay, every. So we might have to extend sometimes to 11:30 also, okay. So consider that training will get over between 11 and 11:30, sometime between 11 and 11:30, okay. So we'll have two breaks in between, so that we can refresh our mind and reflect on whatever we have learned for some time, okay. Then some ground rules are, you have to set yourself the practice time, okay, every day 30 minutes at least. And you have to focus on the assignments, completing the assignments, and creating problems and issues which you can ask me later, which will be solved, okay. Any questions, queries you can ask, so I'll solve them, okay. So these are some of the ground rules that we'll have to follow, okay. Okay, so
Yeah.
Omkar is also joined. Okay, so Abhishek, before proceeding, we missed your introduction. So in introduction, please tell us about your current experience in testing or test automation, and your expectation from the course. I mean, why did you join this? So yeah, please.
Yeah. After manual testing, I had jumped on to Selenium using Java. So, but
Mm,
I also want exposure with Python, as there are more opportunities now with Python than Java. So I
okay,
want to perfect my Python base also.
okay, okay, great, fair. So great.
Ravi, before we start, I just want to understand what are the topics will be covered under Python and how
Yes,
depth we go into.
yes, okay.
Because
Let
we have
me.
a lot of things, NumPy, Pandas, and other
Yes.
things also.
Hmm, right.
So, how depth we
Okay. Let me.
go.
I'll share that one sec.
Okay, thank you.
So see, this is the curriculum. Okay, that we are going to follow. Okay, day wise. So first we'll cover some of the fundamentals of internet architecture, web apps, etc. Then we'll jump into Python programming. Okay, where we'll see about variables, data types, control flow, classes, development process. Okay, all these things, exception handling, etc. And we will cover few libraries as well. Okay, so NumPy, Pandas, all these are libraries, right? These are Python libraries. Okay, so
Yeah.
once you have an idea on the programming language, you can use the library, because using library is not very big task. Okay, if
Okay.
you know the concept, if you understand the method, so I'll teach you dictionaries, right? So
Mhm.
in there you will be able to understand how to use dictionary, so you can use it with any library, that's not a problem. Okay, and then we will cover the automation part, and here we will see various things about Selenium. Okay, we'll see things about WebDriver, how to automate all these various features of Selenium in amalgamation with Python. Then we'll see page object model. Okay, Then we will look into some of the framework specifics. Okay, TestNG is Java specific, so we will not cover that. We'll cover some counterpart in Python. Okay, and then we will see some frameworks in under advanced Selenium, like data driven, hybrid. Okay, we will look into database, and we'll have one session on CI/CD as well. Okay, which will include Jenkins, Git, and GitHub. Okay, the code the code that we will write, okay, will be basically uploaded onto Git, like I told you, on GitHub. Okay, so I'll show you how to create a GitHub account and upload your code and everything, right? So that you can demonstrate that as an asset in your learning. Okay, so this will be the curriculum on high level. Let's see. Okay, let's move on to a little bit of hands-on. Okay, a little bit of practical hands-on. Let's see that. Okay, so we'll start with installation of the software, right? So Python installation is very easy and straightforward, right, for any operating system. So we have to have we should be able to go on to the official websites and official documentation. Okay, always refer that, right, whenever you are working in any tool, technology, or framework, right? So Python official website is this. Okay, and there is very good documentation as well, right, which we'll use a lot. Okay, we have to understand how to read Python documentation as well. Okay, so this 3.13 is the stable release for Python, so I'll download it. So I'm using Windows. If you're using Mac or other operating system, download the respective version. Okay, so if you want to use Mac, if you're using Mac, download this DMZ file from here. Okay, and if you are using Linux, the chances are less. If you are using, download it from here. Okay, for Windows, this is the direct link. So once we download, so see, when I'm installing, it is saying it includes idle, PIP, and documentation. Okay, so idle ideally is the IDE for Python. Okay, so we'll see what is IDE, what are its uses, why we should use it. All these things we'll check. Then it includes PIP. We'll see about PIP as well, and Python documentation, right? Documentation we will read, which will help us to understand how to use which construct in code. Okay, what is the use of various library functions, what are various libraries, all these things are available in the documentation. Okay, so that is also getting installed on my local machine. Okay, if you want to visit online documentation, it is here, right? Python docs. So this is the Python documentation here. Okay, but it will be downloaded in our local as well. Okay, with the software. So I'll click on install now. I'll have to give administrative permissions, and my Python will be installed. So I have old version right now, 3.11. I am installing 3.13. Okay, because this is the latest version. Okay, so when you are installing the Python, just copy the directory location where it is getting installed. So remember where it is getting installed. I'll tell you how to check that. Okay, so normally Python is installed under this location, under your C users, user directory, app data, local, programs, Python. Okay, so normally it is installed under this direction or this location. Okay, and okay, if you want to, if you don't know the directory where it is installed, simply search for Python. Okay, and you can find the location from here as well, open file location. So it will give you the file location where your Python is installed. Okay, so this is my Python 3.13. Okay, it is installed here in this location. So I'll copy this location and save it to Notepad. Okay, so this is my Python. So you can see this, these are the shortcuts actually. So actually my Python is installed here in this directory. Okay, so see, this is my python.exe. So save this location to notepad or somewhere. Okay, because this will be very helpful in future. Okay, now if you see the shortcuts, the idle IDE has been installed by Python. Okay, the manuals and module documentation, all these things are installed, and the shortcuts are present under this location. Okay, so you can maybe save this also if you want by shortcut location. Okay, so once you know about the programming language, these things will be fine, but initially just save it, okay, in notepad, so that you have the access, ready, ready access, handy access to all these things. Now, how to use Python? Okay, now let me explain you the concept. Okay, so let's say I want to use Python now. Okay, so I launch the command prompt. Yeah, and if I have to check whether my Python is installed or not, I will have Python version command. Okay, so after installing the Python, I will have to check whether my Python is installed or not. Okay, so let's say if I run Python here, it is opening this. Okay, so okay, so if I run Python version command, it is saying Python was not found. Okay, what it is saying? Python is not found. Run without arguments to install. Okay, it cannot find the Python. Okay, but let me try to run it here. And here I can see the Python. Okay, here I can see the Python is installed. Okay, but I can access Python only from this directory: C users, my username, app data, local program Python, Python 313 directory. Okay, what is the reason I am not able to access from any other directory? Let's say from this directory also I am not able to access. Okay, if I go one directory back, or if I go to any directory, why I am unable to access the Python? Anyone, any idea why? So see, I should be able to write scripts in any folder, correct? I should be able to write my code in any folder and run it from there, correct? It should not be that I can write my code only in one directory, only in this directory where the Python is available, correct? So what I have to do is I have to make Python accessible from anywhere in my machine.
I think we have not installed Python yet.
No, we have. See, okay. So if we have not installed, how it is there in this directory? So see, in my directory, how it is there, how it is returning the version. Okay, so we have installed, that is for sure, but Python is not accessible from other directories on my machine. Okay, for example, this directory, so it is saying not found. Okay, so I'll tell you the concept behind it. So I have to make sure
command, that I think PIP command.
No, okay, I'll cover that. Yeah, PIP is good point, but yeah, I'll first tell you what is Python and how to access it. So I have to make sure that Python is accessible from all directories or locations in my machine or in my computer. Yes, you agree to this, right? Because we cannot write all our code in single directory. Correct? We cannot write all our code in this directory where Python is available. We should have flexibility to write code anywhere and run it anywhere. Correct? From any folder that I create. Correct? That is the basic thing that we need. Okay. So to make this sure, I have to let my Windows OS know that Python exists in my machine. Okay. So first thing is I have to let my Windows OS know that Python exists in my machine. Okay. And I want to access it from any directory or path. So I have to explicitly tell my Windows OS what I have to tell, that Python does exist and I want to access it from any directory or any path on my machine. This is my requirement because Python is my primary programming language, right? I don't want to restrict myself to write all the code in one folder. Okay, because that will clutter it out. The organization of code will be defeated if I write everything in the same folder. Correct? And I run everything from the same folder. That is not making any sense. Okay, so how would I do that? I will have to let my Windows know that what is my requirement. Okay, now how to do this? How to do this action? Okay, so there is a flexibility or there is a feature provided by Windows, and it is provided by all the operating systems. Okay, which lets any program run from anywhere. Do we know about this feature? Anyone knows about this feature or this flexibility which will let us run any program from anywhere? Anywhere means any location or directory.
No.
No. Okay. I know most of you have used it, but the only thing is the concept was missing. Okay. So that is the environment variables.
Yeah, I heard this environment. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the environment variables. Correct? Yeah, these are the environment variables. Now here I'll go on to path variable. Okay, so I will do it for my user only. I won't do it for system. Okay, so there are two categories. One is for your user. So in your organization, normally the system variable is disabled. Okay, because you can't change variables on the system level for all accounts. So this is generic, all accounts. Okay, so normally companies maybe do not give access to admin rights, etc. Right, on the company laptop. Okay, so always change the variable under your user. Okay, so my computer username is 91721. Okay, this is a number, but don't be confused. Okay, so this is my computer username. If you press Windows key and type in environment variable, wait, I have to change one setting. So press Windows key. Now you are able to see this search for app settings and documents, right?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, so search. So this edit environment variable for your accounts. Okay, just open this, go to path variable, click edit and click on new and provide the path for location where python.exe exists. Okay, so in this path, my python.exe exists. Okay, see here in this path, my python.exe exists. Okay, so here I'll be able to, I've added the path. Okay, you have to restart your command prompt. And then if you do Python version, so apart from this, I have to add scripts folder as well. Okay, maybe I have to restart my machine because the environment variables are not taking effect. Okay, so once you restart your machine, your Python will be accessible from anywhere. Okay, so the only thing that you have to do is add these two variables in the path variables and restart your machine. Okay, once you restart your computer, your Python will be accessible. Okay, this way you can have multiple versions of Python on your machine and still decide to use which one you want to use. Okay. Okay, and you can add it here also, and you can add it in the system section also. Okay, so to add it in system section, you have to say edit environment variables edit the system environment variables. You have to open this window, okay, environment variable, and then you will have this enabled. So this can be done in your local machine only. It cannot be done in your company machine, okay, because the access is normally not provided. Okay, so just add it like this and you are good. Okay, normally by restarting the command prompt it works, but sometimes you have to restart our computer as well. Okay, see, I added system variable, so it is working here. Okay, but if you restart your computer, it will work if you add in your user variables also. Okay, it will pick it up once you restart. Okay, so now I can access Python from anywhere. Yeah, so this is the way I have told Microsoft to make Python accessible. So this is about Python installation and configuration. I can have multiple versions of Python on my computer and I can decide which one I want to use. So see, I have 3 versions, 3.10, 3.11, 3.13. Okay, but I am using 3.13 because my path variable I have defined this version. Okay, sometimes you are confused, right, which version of software it is picking and what. So now you know how to identify which version of software or which version of Java, Python, etc. is picking. Okay, so this operating system feature is for all the programming languages. Okay, for everything it is there. Any program that you want to launch from anywhere, just add it to the path variable. Any program, it can be anything. Okay, for example, Teams, I can do it for Teams as well. Okay, so any software that you want to launch from anywhere, you can add it to that paths variable. Okay, now let us move further. So now we are done with installation.
We don't need to set Python home.
No, you can see, you can name it anything. Okay, so environment variable name, you can give anything. You can say Python home, p home, py home. Okay, but this path variable is a generic variable. Okay, it can have multiple values. See, multiple values are there, right? So you can use here also. Okay, that's not a blocker. You can set Python home also if required. Okay, now some applications that need Python home will need that variable. Okay, but if we are using those applications, then you will need it. So that application installation guide will tell you that set Python home to your Python, then you can set it. But to access Python, we don't need that Python home variable. Okay, some applications might want you to install it. Okay, now this is one software. Now second important software is PIP. Okay, pip is the short form. Okay, so it is a package management system used to install and manage software packages written in Python. Okay, now we are talking about reinventing the wheel, correct? Now should we reinvent the wheel? The obvious answer is no. Okay, so to avoid that everyone reinvents the wheel, what software community does or what development community does, they create libraries and packages. Okay, in every programming language, there are certain libraries and packages. Okay, what is the use of library and a package? It contains a lot of code which can be reused. It contains reusable code. All these words have the same meaning, right? Package, library, module. So these are collections of reusable code. Okay. So now let's say, I want to open a browser. Okay. Now I can write a Python code to open a browser, correct? Or I can use library code to open a browser. Okay. If I use library code, my life will be very easy. Okay. So there are a lot of libraries and packages built in every programming language, which makes our life easy. Okay. So we need to install them, however, because there are n number of libraries, right? There are numerous libraries available in every programming language. Okay. Let's take a quick look at the official website of PyPy. Okay, so here you will find various Python packages. Okay, so PyPy stands for Python Package Index. Okay, this is the official website of Python packages, which are Python approved and official. All the libraries are here related to Python. Okay, for example, Selenium. What Selenium developers have done, they have created one Python library and provided it to Python. Okay, official Python binding for Selenium. Okay, language binding means the Selenium library which should be used with Python. Okay, now this is the information of Selenium library. Okay, that what is the GitHub URL, what is the Selenium official website, all these URLs are here. What does it support? So it supports 3.8 and above. Okay, so this is, we have to check. Okay, how to install, how to set up, all this information is here. Okay, so we'll see all these things, don't worry, we'll see examples, everything we'll see. Okay, so this is the official Python binding. So if we have to use Selenium with Python, we will need this library or this package or this module integrated into our code. Okay, so in order to install various libraries, we have this pip tool, PIP tool. Okay, now first we have to install the PIP tool. So let me check if the tool is available. If I do PIP, if I do this PIP version, I can see that PIP is installed already. Okay, see, right? Now this is also coming from my environment variables. Okay, now how it is coming from my environment variables? First, let me try to remove it. And let me run PIP version. Okay, so it will say it is not recognized as an internal or external command. Okay, so if I want to run PIP from anywhere, what I have to do? I have to add location of PIP to the path, right? What we just did for Python. So PIP is another tool. It's a separate tool like Python. Okay, so Python is one tool, PIP is another tool. For Windows, Windows considers it as separate tool. Okay, and the default location of PIP is in the scripts directory. So it is packaged with the Python. So when I install and download the Python, I get PIP included with it in the scripts. So if I go to scripts, there are three tools: PIP, PIP 3.13 and PIP 3. Okay, so all these three tools are already included with the Python package. Okay, so I have to add this scripts folder into my environment path variable because I want to access this pip.exe from anywhere in my machine. Okay, so again I'll go here in my path variables, I'll add it, and now I'll restart my command prompt and my PIP will be accessible. Okay, and it is accessible from this location. Okay, now I have three versions of Python, right? I have 3.11 also. If you go to 3.11 scripts, you will see PIP here also. Correct? There are two more tools, wheel, this, and YouTube DL. Okay, so this tool downloads the YouTube videos. Okay, so this tool is also there in Python, already available, ready-made. We don't have to reinvent the wheel and recreate the tool. Okay, so this is my old version, but coming back to my new version which I installed today, these are the scripts which are already available to me. So PIP is one of the tool which is already available, and my Windows is reading that tools from this location, from Python 3.13. Okay, so this is the PIP library that is getting used. Okay, now I can install various libraries. Okay, so let us install Selenium library. Okay, now there is a command to install which is this: pip install -u for update Selenium upgrade. If Selenium is already there, it will be upgraded. If it is not there, it will be installed. Now no need to refer this PPT or cram this command. You can go on to the official website pypi.org. Okay. On this website or on this official thing, search for the package that you want to download. Okay, so you will find, let's say I want some YouTube related utility. So I can search for YouTube. Okay, so see, Python YouTube API wrapper, right? And this is one more YouTube tool. This is one more. So all these various tools and libraries are developed by different people and uploaded in Python ecosystem as a library. Okay, you can search them also by date if you want to see something latest, etc. So PyGPT is also there. See, desktop AI assistant. All these tools are already there. If we learn how to use these tools, then our life will be very easy, right? So let's focus on Selenium and relevance. So Selenium official Python binding. So I'll search this official Python binding, and this is the command to install. So I'll copy this command. No need to cram this command, right? We can copy it from official and simply run it on my command prompt anywhere because I have pip in my path. So I can run the command from anywhere and Selenium will be added or installed into my machine, into my computer. Okay. So as soon as I install Selenium, it is downloaded from the official website and it is installed. Okay. Now it is saying one notice or warning it is giving that a new release of pip is available. Okay. 24.31 is the latest release of PIP tool. This is okay, not Selenium. Selenium, it will automatically download the latest. Okay, which is mentioned here 4.26.1. Okay, but what it is saying? It is saying that upgrade of pip is available. So you can run this command and upgrade your PIP as well. Right, PIP tool. That can also be upgraded. So it will uninstall the old tool automatically and it will install the new tool. Okay. Now if you do PIP version, you will see 24.31 as the new version. Okay. Now PIP has various commands. If you do PIP slash dash dash help, it will give you how you can use the PIP tool. Okay. For example, if you want to show information about installed package or if you want list of installed packages, so you have to say PIP list. So these packages are already there on my machine, including Selenium. Okay, so some packages are already there pre-installed. I did not install these packages. These are already pre-installed, and this Selenium I installed now. Okay, so whatever packages you will install, you can see using list. Okay, there are more commands like PIP show command, PIP show package name. If you want more details, it will give you these details about the Selenium package, that this is the version, this is the summary, this is the official homepage of Selenium, okay, which is available in the PIP. Author email not available, location is available. So this is the place from where my Selenium library is being referred. Okay, these are the required things. Okay, required things means other libraries required by Selenium. Okay, so you can see all these libraries are automatically downloaded by Python. Certify library, see this one, Trio library, this one, right? Trio WebSocket, this one. So Selenium internally uses these libraries, okay, for various purposes. Okay, we don't want to learn about all these libraries, right? Because we want to use Selenium, we learn about Selenium. We will be less concerned on how Selenium is actually developed. Okay, we are going to use it, right? For example, VLC media player. If you want to play a movie on VLC media player, what do? We simply open the player and open the video file and play it, right? We are least bothered whether it is written in Java, whether VLC player is written in .NET, C, right? We don't care. End user does not care about it. Correct? That in which language my VLC player is written. Correct? Because we are intending to use it. Similarly, we are intending to use Selenium. Okay. So we are least bothered about what it uses or how it is created, or what is the code written by Selenium developers to create the Selenium library. Okay. None of our concern, because we just want to use it. Okay. So if I do pip install Selenium, it will install all the dependencies or libraries as well, other libraries. These are known as transitive libraries. Okay. So let's say in an interview, someone asks you what is transitive library to gauge your knowledge of basics. This is a good question, right? So I can ask you what is a transitive library, right? Now, if you tell me that transitive library is when I install a package or library using pip, all dependent libraries are called as transitive libraries which are automatically downloaded by pip. Okay. So see, with this answer, you are demonstrating a lot of knowledge, right? Already. Right. So interviewer is able to filter that you, okay, you know the basics, you know the pip, you know this, you know transitive. He, in his brain, all these things are pre-programmed, right? That, okay, the candidate knows these 4 or 5 things already. So he will move on to the next layer, next skill up, right? He'll ask you next higher level question. Okay. That means you progressed in your discussion. Correct. So these small things are important to know and remember. Okay. Now, okay, so we have installed Selenium, right? We have installed pip, we have installed Python. Okay. Now I'll tell you something about IDE. So IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. Okay. So see, we came from break around 9:10, 9:15, right? Around a half hour back, right? Roughly 30-35 minutes back. So in 30-35 minutes, we already have 2-3 tools, libraries, okay, 4-5 transitive dependencies, libraries. All these are already discussed, right? Lot of tools are there, lot of libraries are there, correct? Now to manage all these things, lot of settings, configurations will also be there. To manage all these things with our own self is going to become cumbersome and difficult when we are starting to learn. Okay. So when we are learning, where should we focus? When we are learning, we should focus on code and logic more. Okay. We should not focus, or we should refrain from focusing on all these configuration settings, right? Because if these settings get disturbed every now and then it's going to be very difficult for us to focus on code and logic, right? So we need some tool, we will use some tool which will make our life easy. Okay. So that tool is called as integrated development environment. Okay. Now integrated word stands for integration of various tools, settings, configuration. Okay. Development means we want to do development of Python or a programming language. Okay. And environment means single ecosystem, single view, single window where we are able to view all the settings, all the libraries, our Python interpreter, our source code, all the source code layered in various folders and directories properly. Okay. So everything we need in a proper environment so that we can focus on code and logic and worry less about tools, libraries, interpreter, version, all those other things. Okay. Setting path and all those things, right? We know it, we do it. But if we keep on worrying about it, if we keep on debugging it, then we will waste our lot of time in our initial days and even in our programming as well. Okay. So for that purpose, we will use IDE. Okay. Now there are multiple IDEs which are available in market. Okay. If you go on Google, type in Python IDE, you will find n number of options. Okay. So one is IDLE, right? Which is already pre-packaged in Python. This is the official IDE of Python. Okay. So let me give you a sneak peek of how idle looks like. So okay, it's not in path. Okay. So it is in the shortcuts directory. So this is my idle. Okay. Idle. This is pre-installed with Python. No need to install it separately. Okay. So I'll give you a sneak peek of how idle looks like. Okay. So this is how it looks like. Okay. So more or less it is like a shell. Okay. Here you can type any Python code. Okay. For example, 2 plus 2 is 4, right? So it acts as a simple calculator because 2 plus 2 is a Python code in Python. Okay. If you want to print anything, you can print. Okay. But this is more or less like a command prompt only, right? So this is not very user friendly ID. It is user friendly, but not very user friendly. Okay. So this is one option how I can use Python. Okay. It has all the options, right? You can configure the ID with fonts, etc., etc., right? You can run the shell, right? You can debug. Okay. All these features are there. You can have various files. You can have modules. Okay. All these things are there in the ID, but not very user friendly. Okay. And this is comes in free, inbuilt, not free, inbuilt with the Python. Okay. Free as well, but inbuilt. Okay. So the most popular Python IDE is PyCharm. Okay. From JetBrains. The Visual Studio Code is also very good, coming up and fine. Okay. But more or less all these IDs do the same purpose. Okay. So PyCharm is the IDE of our choice, and we will use that in our course. And most of the companies you will see, they use PyCharm only. Okay. So we'll go on to the official website of PyCharm. Yeah. So see, this is the JetBrains website and the official website of PyCharm. Okay. Now here you will see two versions. One is the full-fledged professional, okay, which is a paid version, which we will not use, which we will avoid. Other is the free community version, okay, which we will use. So scroll down because you are getting something for free. So you have to scroll down, and here you will see the download button. And yeah, so first you will see the professional version, then you will see the free version. Okay. So download the community edition. Okay. Do not download the professional. It has free trial, but we don't need advanced features anyways. Okay. We'll need some basic features only, or what are the free features we are sufficient for us. Okay. So click on, based on your operating system, Windows, Mac or Linux, download the respective file. Okay. And a file will be downloaded. Where is that? Okay. So basically one file will be downloaded, which will be around 500 MB. Okay. Just open that file, click on next, 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 choose all the default options, and your ID will be installed. Okay. And it will look something like this, PyCharm. I already have it installed, so I'm not showing you how to install it, because it is very straightforward, right? Just download it, and just how we install a regular Windows software, next, 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 complete, right? Simple. Keep everything default. Don't worry about anything. Okay. So this is how my, wait, let me close this project.
Is PyCharm a replica of IntelliJ?
Not replica. It is built by the same company, but
Okay.
for Python. Yeah. Yeah. Built by the same company, but for Python. Yeah. Because replica, yeah, I mean, you can say it serves the same purpose what IntelliJ does for Java. Okay. This is for Python. Okay. So this is how you will be greeted with the welcome screen once you open the PyCharm. Okay. Now we'll quickly see how to create a basic project and how to write a basic script. Okay. And some basic configurations of PyCharm. Okay. So you will create a new project. Okay. You can name your project anything. I'll name it as first project. Okay. And location, let me give one suitable location. Okay, I'll save my things here in the Python projects. Okay, this is the location where I want to save my code. Okay, you can click this create a welcome script, so it will give you a small script to you. Okay, here you can choose Python version. Okay, see the default current version is 3.11.5, okay, which is old version. Right now, let's see how to configure a new version here. I want to use my new version 3.13 that I installed. Okay, I can directly download here also. If I click here, it will download the latest the given version for me. Okay, but let's see, I already have my Python version installed. Okay, so go to the location which we copied earlier. This is my default location of Python. Paste. And this is how my Python exe will look like. So I'll choose this. I'll choose this exe and click on OK. Okay, and click on create. So my virtual environment will be created. So Python works in a virtual environment, which IDE is creating it for me. My project is created. Name of the project is first project. Okay, and I am using the Python interpreter of my choice. Okay, if you want to check which Python interpreter is getting used, so we selected it, right? But if you want to check, you can go to settings and search for interpreter. So you will get the Python interpreter, and the version that I'm using is Python 3.13 from this location. Okay, so this is the Python interpreter that I'm using. Okay, so some background things are going on. So let's wait for Python interpreter to get updated. Okay, so this is one-time integration of IDE and Python interpreter. Okay, once it is integrated, it won't take this long every time. Okay, one time it creates indexes and updates the Python interpreter or integrates it with my IDE. Okay, so let it update in the background. Okay, by the time what we can do is we can run this simple script which is created by IDE. Okay, so you can read all these things which are given here, right? Very easy. So you can do a shift F10. You can press this button, play button, or you can press this play button to run your main script. So the name of my script is main.python, main.py. Okay, so let me run. Okay, so this output is displayed because I am displaying the hi and I am displaying the PyCharm. So hi PyCharm is getting displayed. Okay, we can create a more simpler version. Of this script. Okay, so right click on your project, new file, or you can click on Python file as well. Okay, so either you can directly create a file or you can create a new file or a Python file. Okay, so this type of empty file will be generated, and I'll do a print hello world. Okay, now here if you want to execute first, you have to choose current file and then you have to run. So the hello world will be printed on console. Okay, you can right click and run as well. Okay, so these are a couple of ways your IDE can be used to execute a script. Okay, so this is how simple Python becomes. Okay, now so this is what we have learned today. Okay. So today, considering our first session, we'll keep it light. Okay. So last topic, let's do one last thing today before we wrap up. Okay. Today. So after this, we'll have our session, 9 weeks, entire thing we'll have again. Again means we'll start from next week's in scratch. So tomorrow, due to some urgencies, the class will not be there, and we'll meet on Saturday. We'll start the batch from Saturday onwards. Okay. Next Saturday, the upcoming one. Okay. So let's conclude by writing a simple Selenium script, okay, which launches a browser and let's say navigates to Google. Okay. So what I'm going to do, launch a browser and open Google and close the browser. Okay. Let's say I want to automate this simple thing. Okay. Now I told you that we installed Selenium library, right? So I'll use the library. So I'll say from Selenium import WebDriver. Okay. So I'll use my Selenium library and I'll import the Selenium WebDriver. Okay. Now let me first check my interpreter. My interpreter is not loaded properly because it is not showing the libraries. Okay, now it is. Okay, so I've reloaded the interpreter. Okay, now you can see Selenium library. Okay, so always check in settings your Python interpreter and your libraries should be present here. If libraries are not present, your script will not work. Okay, that means you will not be able to use the library. Other scripts will work, but if I want to use Selenium, my script will not work. Okay, now since libraries are displayed here, I'll say okay. Okay, so if I want to use WebDriver from Selenium library, I'll use this command. Okay, so this command basically what line number 5 is doing. So this is line number here, right? So line number 5 is importing the WebDriver from Selenium library. Okay, so from Selenium import WebDriver. Okay, so we'll learn more about this. Don't worry. If you don't understand what is happening, don't worry. We'll learn more about it. Okay, I'll create a driver instance, WebDriver dot Chrome. Okay, so let's say I want to launch my Chrome browser. Okay, and after launching my Chrome browser, I want to go to a URL which is google.com. Okay, so always copy the URL from browser window. Okay, don't type it because there is a probability of mistake. Okay, let's say I want to go to this window, so copy it from here. Okay, it will come with protocol as well, whether it is HTTP, HTTPS. Okay, just paste the URL here. Okay, my script will go on to google.com and then I can say driver.quit. Okay, to close the browser or quit the driver. Okay, now I'll run this script. Right click, run Selenium browser. So see my application, my browser is launched and it went on to Google and quit itself as well. Okay, now I can do certain things. Okay, maybe I can print the driver title. Okay, maybe I can print the title of the URL. Okay, simple thing. Click on run button. It will launch Selenium Chrome browser. Okay, so the title is Google. Okay, so this is how easy it is in Python to get started. Okay. Now, how we are able to launch our browser with just a single line of code, which is this. Okay. Let's say if I comment all of this code. So hash is the comment. Comment means my Python interpreter won't read these lines. So there are total 9 lines in my code right now. Correct. And whatever starts with hash, Python interpreter won't read it. That's a commented code. Okay. Now let's say if I run only this one line, driver is equal to webdriver.chrome, it is sufficient to launch my browser. Okay. So how come this magic? With this one line only I'm able to launch browser? Because Selenium developers have already written sufficient code in the WebDriver package here. You know, here in the WebDriver packages, they have imported a lot of things, right? A lot of code is already being written using all these libraries and everything, all these methods. Okay. Which is enabling me to launch the browser with simple one line of code. Okay, that's the power of reusing a library and reusing a module. Okay, so this was a small sneak peek on how Python works. Okay, so this simple script that we have written, I know there will be many questions, you know, that why driver is equal to this and that, what is print, what is driver.quit, etc., what is from Selenium, right? So all these things we'll understand from basic, right? We'll start with variables and we'll start with logical functions, right? So we'll learn about lot of constructs of Python, right? How to use them and what are advantages and disadvantages of each one of them, right? And how to create Selenium frameworks and how to automate, right? So we have our LMS and there we have demo project as well. Okay, so if you go to Techcanvass, you will get access to so you will get access to this Python Selenium training. Okay, and there you will have practice website. For example, this one is hospital management related website. Okay, maybe it is down right now, but yeah. So there are a couple of websites which you can use. Okay, right now it's maybe down, but we'll get that up. Okay, this page also we can automate. Yeah, so see there are various pages, right? Okay, also we can use other websites also. So there are a lot of Selenium practice websites in market, right? On internet there are a lot of Selenium practice websites, so we can use any website and we will automate certain things. Okay, so fine, so this is what we had for today. Okay, any questions, anyone?
Hello, hi Ravi.
Yes.
Omkar this side.
Yeah,
Okay.
Omkar.
So I will tell you frankly that I am like not comfortable with this programming language, like not even Java, not Python. So for me, it's a like startup for my language career. So is it okay?
Yes.
Or do I need to do something else? Like you are going like fast, or it's like gentle speed?
No. So like I said, you know, I just gave you a sneak peek, but we'll start from very basic. We'll start from variables and scratch in Python. So ideally this course is designed for people, you know, with zero programming experience migrating from manual to automation. So we'll start everything from scratch. So like I told you, right, this was just orientation or basic session. So next session, so next week when we start on Saturday, we'll be starting from very basic. So I can show you the curriculum. So see, we will start with very basic. We'll start with even, so normally you know about these fundamentals, right? But we start with internet architecture, web applications, right? What is web, what is front end, back end, all these API. We start with these basic things. Then we go into variables, integers, floats, and then we use the control flow, exception handling, classes, and development process. So basically we start with very, very basic. We don't start with advanced topics at all. Okay, so this is definitely for someone who is new to programming or starting with it. Yeah, so all the basic constructs, right, will be taught to you, will be explained in detail. And we'll start with very, very basic programs, right? Like printing something on console, adding two numbers, right? Or creating a simple calculator where I can do addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, right? So we'll start with all these basic programs. Yeah, and you will be running it, so you can practice simultaneously as well. Like as I am doing, you can do the same thing. Okay, and later when you are practicing, you can again re-practice those programs. So that is also one way you can engage in learning.